Coming to you live from Earthsprung Gymnasium in Berea, Ohio. Welcome to our coverage of the Yellow Jacket men and the Trine Thunder. Game 2 of the doubleheader tonight. The ladies' game went in favor of Baldwin Wallace, and now the men will try to replicate that effort tonight. The Yellow Jackets 4-3 on the season, and Trine University coming in with a record of 4-4 off back-to-back 2-point losses on their home floor. I'm Brendan Gulick. Glad to have you on board here tonight. Coverage of the Yellow Jackets and the Thunder is presented to you by Dan Andrews and Olympic Forest Products. They're a global recycling company. By Papa John's Pizza in Berea, the official pizza provider of BW Athletics. Call us at 440-891-1900 or go online, papajohns.com. And by the Oswald Company, they'll handle all of your insurance and risk management needs. So the Yellow Jackets come into tonight's game off of back-to-back conference wins, and boy, did they need those. They beat Heidelberg 61-60 2 weeks ago tonight. And about a week and a half ago, they knocked off Muskingum 81-63, so it's been a little bit of a layoff here. The Yellow Jackets haven't played in 11 days, and they're hoping that perhaps that little layoff can help them get a bit healthier. They've had a few nagging injuries here at the beginning of the season, and they'd love to get back out on the floor and be playing at their best once we turn the calendar over to 2020, when the Jackets have some really tough conference games right out of the chute. But first, 3 non-conference. First against Trine tonight, and then the team on December 28th and 29th will play Albion and Bluffton in road games for the Jackets. Let's give you the starting lineups. First for BW, Michael Quiring, Matt Dimitrievs, Zach Sabula, Luke Schaefer, and Tyler Colombo. Boy, is Luke Schaefer playing some good basketball or what? 13 points per game. All of a sudden, he's become BW's most consistent offensive player this year. And perhaps the coaching staff wouldn't say it's all of a sudden. I know they've been high on Luke for quite a while, but last year was a good year, but not quite the year he's having here in 2019-2020. As Quiring keeps it in. The opening tip controlled by the men in white tonight, BW, and we're underway here at home. Schaefer coming off of a ridiculous 27-point outpouring down at Muskingum. He has gone for 15 or more in 5 of the team's 7 games this year. Tyler Colombo down the left lane and apparently blocked by Maurice Hunter. Bryce Williams, Langston Johnson, Jake Daniels, Marcus Winters, and Maurice Hunter, the starting lineup for the Trine Thunder tonight. Bryce Williams, a sophomore out of Archbold, making his first career start. This is his 28th career game, and he has never started before at the collegiate level, so keep your eye on number 2 in Navy tonight. Dimitrievs, Sabula up top here. Back to Colombo, and now Dimitrievs in the right corner. Yellow Jackets not afraid to shoot it from deep. Matt Dimitrievs tried to get going early, and he comes up with nothing at all. On the right side, Jack Daniels for 3. Daniels a good shooter. He can really let him go. 39% on the year from behind the three-point line. He's averaging 13 per night. Tyler Colombo with a good fake and drive, and he gets the layup around Maurice Hunter. Hunter is only playing in his 4th game of the season. Unsure as to why he was limited at the beginning of the year. Not sure if it was health or injury related, perhaps academic. I don't want to speculate, but whatever the case is, this is his 4th game of the season. But a guy that you have to take seriously. Hunter is a really, really good post player. It's 3-2 Trine, but they've coughed it up a couple of times here. Hunter is playing in his 58th game as a Trine Thunder player, averaging about 10 points and 6 rebounds a night throughout his career. That missed shot pulled in by their really good guard, Langston Johnson. Down to Hunter in the post. They want to feed him against Tyler Colombo all night long if they can. That missed shot turns into a Jacket rebound. Baldwin Wallace all-time against Trine 4-0, including wins each of the last 3 years. And in large part, the last 3 seasons, part of those victories were because of the play of BW big men. That's not something you usually hear when you talk about BW wins over the years. Matt Dimitriev's raining the 3 ball, 5-3 BW. The Jackets have been far more guard-oriented and three-point shooting than they have been infatuated with their big men over the years. At least under Tom Heil's teams. Tom's in his 5th year with a terrific mark here in Berea. On the other side, Hunter comes off the floor, and Jason Clune, the senior out of Meadville, PA, takes his spot. Clune, another big guy, 6'4", and he can really move. Actually, beg your pardon, that was Mitch Geller, who is 6'7". I thought perhaps Clune was not quite that tall. Had to do a double take. It's 35, not 25 on the floor as Langston Johnson puts in his first basket. Anyways, the last couple years when BW has played Trine, last year it was a career-high 18 rebounds from Drew Sova. Drew played really well on the road at Trine last year as Dimitriev's throws a missile off the middle of the backboard from right underneath it. 5-5 game. Langston to his left. No friendly roll. Langston Johnson is a really good scorer and someone you can't take lightly if you're the Yellow Jackets tonight. Got a foul in the corner. 5-5 affair, just a couple minutes in. And the first foul here of the night gives us a chance to introduce our officials to you. That was Brad Cavey, who's our head official tonight. Michael Griffith working with him, and Izzy Santiago Jr. Anyways, Sova had 18 last year as a big man, and the 2 years before that, Jake Featherolf played really well as the Yellow Jacket post player. And look, Jake could really shoot it. He was a stretch 4. But nevertheless, the post players against Trine the last couple years for BW have been outstanding. Picked away, and here come the Thunder. 5-5, 4 minutes in. Winters gives it off, gets it right back, and then throws it to nobody. Almost threw it down into the BW locker room down the tunnel there. Boy, it's kind of odd to see several turnovers like this early in the game, because Baldwin Wallace and Trine, despite their 500 records on the season, or I should say roughly 500, have been 2 of the absolute best teams in the country when it comes to taking care of the ball. Schaefer missed the 3, but Sova got it back. More on that note in a minute. Sabula down the right side, and he spins it over the side of the rim. 7-5 Jackets. Once Drew Sova came on the floor, no surprise, Maurice Hunter quickly re-entered his well. Winters against Anthony Mazzio, and now the matchup you really want to see. Sova and Hunter. Sova wins the first one. Trine is 4th in the country at 9.6 turnovers per game. 4th out of 416 teams. There are only 3 that are better, and the Jackets are one of them. Luke Schaefer with his first basket from the left corner. BW is averaging hundredths of a turnover less per game, but BW is 2nd nationally in fewest turnovers per game. The problem is the Jacket offense hasn't been nearly as good as it's been in years past. They're only a 43% shooting team, and they're averaging just about 74 points per night. But a 4-3 record at the start of the season. Nothing wrong with that, as Quiring is called for lowering his shoulder. Offensive foul. Shane Zalba, Jake Snyder, and Jack Listowski getting ready to check in for BW. On the other side, Trine made a sub, and they brought Terrell Bryant into the game. Bryant, a young man out of Holland. Went to Springfield High School. Brooks Miller, by the way, the 9th year head coach at Trine. And his team is coming off of a regular season championship last year for the first time ever. Each of the first 8 seasons that Brooks Miller has led Trine's program, they've had top 4 finishes in the MIAA. Problem is, that's a league that has been dominated over the years by Hope and Calvin, and a pretty good Albion team as well. And even Alma a couple years ago won the league. I think that was back in the let's see, it was the 2015-16 season that Alma won that league championship. Listowski from up top drives to his right and gives to Jake Snyder, where the freshman sharpshooter lets it rain, and a timeout called for by the Thunder. What a start for BW. 7-0 run, 3-ball from Jake Snyder forces the first stoppage of the night, and it's 12-5 Jackets, 7-0 run here in Berea. You know, the Jackets with an early 7-point lead on 5 of 10 shooting. Trine's hit just 2 of 6. But Brooks Miller was rather unhappy when Jake Snyder had that good of a look at a three-pointer, so he called a timeout. We'll see if his team adjusts defensively. Langston Johnson trying to make it tough on him, and he could not capitalize from being that close to the hoop. Talk about sharpshooters. Anthony Mazzio is really good, and only in his freshman season. Mazzio's on the floor. Sova trying to get it to him, and Tom Heil calls timeout. Didn't want to see a turnover down there. But Anthony Mazzio, he's already a 47% three-point shooter in his first 7 games as a collegiate basketball player. So the Jackets have a 12-5 lead here at the outset, 13:30 left on the first half clock. In the meantime, elsewhere around the league tonight, we've had a couple games already go final. And those Marietta Pioneers are continuing to look like truly one of the premier teams in Division III men's basketball this year. 96-70, they thumped the Britons from Albion. That's a game that can resonate with both fan bases here tonight. Albion, a conference foe. And actually, Albion last year was the kryptonite for the Trine Thunder. Trine beat them in overtime in the regular season, but Albion, a 3-point win in the conference championship game. They won the MIAA a year ago. Out of the timeout. Trine's got a 2 and a 3 to their credit so far. They have not shot it well early on as Johnson needs some help. Gives to Hunter. Against Drew Sova. Hunter, too strong. Sova grabs the miss. So Marietta won by 26. Wilmington eked by Olivet tonight, 69-67. The Quakers kind of having a tough start to the year, 3-7. Jackets starting to look good here early. Jack Listowski with a 3. And it's 15-5, a 10-0 run. Cox finally ends the run. Might have been an odd-looking shot banking in like that, but counts all the same. Muskingum's also playing Waynesburg tonight. That game is early on, 14-8 Muskingum. So we'll keep you locked in on the one other game in the OAC as Listowski tries another. It's just a little off the mark. Here comes the Thunder. Sova trying to get strong with Hunter, who turns around and scores it finally. Also, down at the RDV Sportsplex in Orlando, Florida, in the same tournament that the Yellow Jackets played in 2 years ago, Hope is hosting Carleton tonight, and they've just gotten underway down there. Snyder misses his 3 in the right corner, and here come the Thunder, all of a sudden only down 5. Johnson back up top, Bryce Williams to his left. Feeds Hunter low left post. Banging around with Sova, and he's got the better of him now each of the last 2. So 7 unanswered for the men in Navy. Shane Zalba, the former Mentor Cardinal, dribbles it off somebody's foot. Still picks it up, finds Snyder in the corner. And Snyder's 3 sat on the edge of the rim for a moment. Approaching the midway point of the first half, and the 15-5 lead that BW had just 2 minutes ago is almost entirely evaporated here. Johnson beats Snyder, and he got fouled. Jacket bench thought maybe Snyder had gotten it clean, but not the case. Schaefer and Colombo coming back in. Now they're going to say it's in the act of shooting. All right, I can see that. So Langston Johnson misfires on the first. This guy is not just good this year, where he is averaging 21.5 per game, but he has put on a pretty impressive performance throughout his career. This is his senior season. He's playing in his 88th career game tonight. He's been a double-digit scorer his whole career. Didn't start much as a freshman, but has basically been in the starting lineup just about every game over the last couple of seasons. But all of a sudden, a big increase on the offensive end. He's been asked to do a little bit more now that a couple of good players have graduated, like Miles Copeland. Snyder in the right corner, 5 to shoot. The Jacket offense a bit stagnant here. Colombo's got 2 to shoot. Throws it up there. Hit the front of the rim. That wasn't very impressive. Somehow it stayed inbounds. Schaefer blew the layup. The Jackets can reset, though. All right. We're at the 10-10 mark of the first half. Baldwin Wallace hasn't scored in a bit here. Zalba trying to change that, and it does not go down. All of a sudden, BW can't buy a bucket after they were hot to start the game. They haven't scored here in 3 minutes. Colombo being tested again defensively, and he wins that battle against Brent Cox. I think Tyler may have had his contact jarred around a bit, so he needs a second. Both sides making some changes. Brandon Johnson, no relation to Langston Johnson. He checks in. Aiden Warzeka also on the floor, sophomore out of Milford, Michigan. Mitch Geller is in there out of Huntington North High School. Quiring, he came back on the floor with Sabula. Schaefer, Dimitrievs, and Colombo rounded out. Those are the 5. Tyler likes to handle it, cradles it, threw it over the hoop entirely. Low scoring game, neither team getting in a real good rhythm early as Daniels chucks up a 3 that never really had much of a chance. Hit the back heel of the rim, but didn't go. Dimitrievs tries to answer, and he puts it in. Finally, a basket for Baldwin Wallace. We're closing in on a full 4 minutes there. Somehow Dimitrievs didn't commit a foul. And a layup for Brandon Johnson. 18-14 BW. Dimitrievs again. No. Last year in this game, Jay Battle really took over for the Jackets. He dropped 30. At the time, it was a career high. He eclipsed that 4 times during the rest of the season. Good defense from Colombo. Oh, Cox with a great move. But when he shot it, didn't go in. Jacket lead is 4 in a gymnasium that's kind of quiet at the moment. Everybody watching intently. There's a good play. Colombo didn't put it in. We're at the 8-minute mark of the first half. Trine wants to push it. Little Euro step from Warzeka, and that one didn't fall in. It's been pretty ugly offensively, if I'm being honest with you. Yellow Jackets shooting below 30% here. Quiring tried to go up and under, and he spun it in there. Quiring holding his eye. I think he's trying to adjust his contact. See if Michael can fight through it. clearly having an issue. You can hear him say, "I can't see." A good fight underneath the basket, and the referee calls time here because Q is clearly having an issue. A little contact solution. We're going to send Shane Zalba back on the floor. Meanwhile, Langston Johnson and Maurice Hunter both return. And it looks like Bryce Williams comes back too. Winters, Williams, Johnson, all out there. 20-16 BW as Quiring tries to get that contact issue fixed. Schaefer on the right side. So far, kind of quiet for him. Only 2 points. Hasn't taken a bunch of looks yet. But Luke is capable. Fades away here. Left elbow extended. Misses. He's 1 for 5 shooting the rock. It's the same stat line we got from Ty Colombo early. All right. The Yellow Jacket lead is 4 points, 20-16, as Trine turns it over for the 5th time here in the first half. Jackets trying to win for the 3rd time in 4 games. Trine trying to snap a 2-game losing streak after they had gotten it to 3-2 this year. Check that, 4-2. Dimitrievs, he got fouled. Nope, he traveled. He puts his hands on his heads and frustration. All right, back to work on the defensive end. 6:30 left before halftime. BW at 2-1 in conference play with only a loss to Marietta so far. There's a 3 ball. Bryce Williams makes it 20-19. Right now, the Yellow Jackets, because they're 2-1 in the league, they're only a game behind Mount Union and Marietta, who ironically have both beaten John Carroll. However, John Carroll lost this past weekend to the Fighting Muskies, so the Blue Streaks are 0-3 in league play for the first time in about 30 years. That is unlike them. 22-19 after Dimitrievs put in his 7th and 8th points. Johnson almost threw it away. Good idea from Schaefer. But then he over-aggressively went into Bryce Williams to commit the foul. All right. Back in the game here, Terrell Bryant. Johnson has a seat for, I should say, that's not Johnson, but Winters that had a seat there. See if Bryant can drive and score over the left side of the rim for 2. 22-21, BW by a point. First points of the night for Terrell Bryant. Luke Schaefer. Oh, great crossover move. Kicks to the corner. Now it's Mazzio. Back to Snyder. Under 5 minutes to play in the first half. The Yellow Jackets have yet to find any real rhythm offensively. Mazzio partially blocked on the way down. It goes out of bounds, blocked out by Hunter, but I think it should be a shot clock violation, no? Also going to put time back on the shot clock. The referees converge here for a moment. Now they break. All right, they do want 1 second on the clock. So the Jackets have to either catch and shoot. A little confusion here. All right, Dimitrievs, they do have 1 to shoot. It's Schaefer from the volleyball line, and he missed it. Perhaps Tom Heil thought there was a foul called underneath the basket. I'm not sure. All right, let's see if the Jacket defense could step up here. The offense is sputtering a bit. They've only hit 9 of 26 From the right side, Langston Johnson's had some tough looks. That one was too easy. First one he missed, but uncontested to grab his own rebound, and then he swished the follow-up. And Trine has the lead, 23-22. Remember, the Jackets led the game 15-5. Dimitriev's almost dribbled off his heel. Down the right side, kicks to Zalba. Back underneath to Drusova, and he tried to get strong underneath the basket. Drusova to the free throw line. First personal foul on Maurice Hunter. Team second, neither team really getting in foul trouble here. So Sova's at the stripe. Meanwhile, Alex Nara goes to the free throw, or I should say to the scorer's table, beg your pardon. Nara's in for Schaefer, and Zalba leaves the floor with Michael Quiring returning. And a counter change on the Trine side. They take Williams out, and Brent Cox comes back on the floor. Sova hits the free throws, 24-23. I want to talk about a bugaboo. BW is 59% from the free throw line as a team this season. It's not how you draw it up through 7 games. The team certainly practices free throws enough. It's been a real area of frustration, no doubt. Maybe tonight's the night to get it back in the right direction. Nara underneath Drusova. He got hit. Sova back to the stripe. So all of a sudden, Hunter picks up back-to-back fouls quickly. So Drusova back to the free throw line, where for his career, he's only about 58%. And he's off target there. Meanwhile, Marcus Winters returns, and no surprise that Maurice Hunter checks out of the game. Trine had a couple of subs, actually. All right, so here they come up the floor. Trine down 2. Looking underneath the basket, and a foul on Mazzio from behind. He was kind of pulling at Brent Cox. Brandon Johnson is in the game as well. Winters and Johnson were the two that came back in. (25-23) Baldwin Wallace. 3:22 left in the first half as Johnson took an open 3. Alex Nara pulled in the rebound. Trine is connected on about 45% from the floor, but the Jackets have done a better job on the glass. BW just a 1 possession lead. Nara spins, uses the backboard, and he got it. Good work by Alex Nara, give him his first 2 points of the night. Winters and Cox working up top. Now Johnson on the left side. Langston Johnson, buckets. You can see the frustration on Tom Heil's face. I don't blame him. That was way too easy. 6 now for Langston Johnson, who's averaging almost 22 per night. Sova into a double team, threw it underneath. Mazzio came to his help and put it in. 29-25. Good job by Anthony Mazzio. The freshman has his first 2. Everybody getting it done on the offensive end for BW tonight because nobody is taking it on their own shoulders. Johnson missed that one. Dimitriev's has 8 points. Nobody else for BW has more than 3. But everybody except for Shane Zalba that has seen the floor has scored at least 2. From the corner, Mazzio got it. 5 points for Anthony Mazzio, and the lead goes back to 7. Langston Johnson back to Marcus Winters. Cuts into the paint, rejected by Alex Nara. Just 1:36 left before halftime. And a true group effort on both sides. Just about everybody has gotten in the scoring column once. Lots of contact there between Nara and Geller. Turns into Johnson up top, 3 to shoot now. Back to Hunter, he lost it. Shot clock goes off. All right, good work by the BW defense. Hunter comes out. They're not going to let him pick up his 3rd foul if they can avoid it. So a tactical change there. 32-25 BW with 1:10 to play. Nara from Quiring now hands to Jake Snyder. Mazzio in a little bit of a trouble. Down the left lane, he rocked him to sleep and then took him right to the rack. 34-25. Great hesitation move by Mazzio. Then he exploded through the opening as Daniels just absolutely buries a 3. 34-28, 6 for Daniels as Mazzio throws it off of a Trine foot. Brad Cavey whistles the kick. 38.7. Trine making a sub. Cox in, Williams out. Quiring gets the inbound right back from Nara. Feeds it to Alex, who goes to the bucket. The 2-man game gets 2. 36-28. Trine can essentially hold for the last shot if they want. Only about 1 second difference between the game and shot clock here. BW with a much better last couple of minutes offensively. They're shooting 44% in the first half. For a while, they were barely shooting 30%. 36-28 the score. Langston Johnson, 4-3. Rebound pulled in by Nara. Quiring from 3-quarter court. Good if it goes. Just over the top of the square. He almost put it in. And the Yellow Jackets have a 36-28 lead at the half. Live stats available for you if you'd like to follow along on bwyellowjackets.com. Dmitrievs leads all scorers with 8 points. 7 for Mazzio. Nara has 4. Snyder, Lastowski, and Sova with 3. Quiring, Sabula, Schaefer, and Colombo with 2. The only Yellow Jacket not to score in the first half was Shane Zalba. BW shot 42%, 5 of 15 threes, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, and they out-rebounded Trine by 3, 19-16. Jackets also only turned it over 3 times, and they gave up, or I should say they forced 6 turnovers by the Thunder offense. We'll step aside during halftime. Come on back for the start of the second half in about 15 minutes on bwyellowjackets.com. Our live streaming coverage of the Yellow Jackets tonight continues from Ursprung Gymnasium, presented to you by Jimmy John's in Middleburg Heights. We're freaky fast, so your sandwich arrives freaky fresh. Call us at 440-625-0745 or order online, jimmyjohns.com. Also presented to you by Medical Mutual of Ohio, the official healthcare provider of Baldwin Wallace University, and by Crown Plaza in Middleburg Heights. If you're looking for a quality place to stay before or after any Yellow Jacket contest, we hope you choose the Crown Plaza. I'm Brendan Gulick. Let's get the second half underway. Trine in navy, the Yellow Jackets in white. It is 36-28 BW. The Jackets hit 14 of 33 shots in the first half, and a good chunk of those came early and late. They had a long stretch there where the offense didn't look particularly good. Trine at one point led the game 23-22, but the Jackets exploded to a much better finish to that first half. So both teams have made their adjustments, and apparently Langston Johnson couldn't get on the same page as his teammate Bryce Williams. So they turn it over quickly here at the start of the half, and the Jackets will take it up the floor. That's the 7th Trine turnover. Remember, they only average 9.5 per game, one of the best in the country. Colombo wanted it, and he got it. Tyler Colombo with his first 3 of the night. Tyler's got 5. They try to answer quickly on the other end. Doesn't fall in for Jack Daniels, who can really stroke it. Daniels and Langston Johnson each with 6 points early on. They get a foul here on the Jackets, so a baseline inbound coming. Schaefer picks up his second foul. Johnson circling around. I think he knew it the whole way. Loves that move, and he puts it in. He's got 8. Here comes Quiring racing up the floor here after the slow dribble originally. Michael to his left. This seemed like a play for him the whole way because he never really considered anybody else. Quiring for 2, 41-30. On the right side of the floor, Jack Daniels needs some help, so he comes back up to Marcus Winters. Now it's Johnson in the left corner, guarded closely by Quiring. Johnson gets it back from Hunter. Got a mismatch here. Can they feed the post? Tyler wanted to switch. Instead, they drive the right side and score. Winters, 2 points. 41-32. Largest lead of the game for BW is the 11 points they just had a moment ago. Johnson, boy, how did he not break his ankle? Jeez, oh man. Turns into an open Williams 3. He missed it. Got his own miss, tiptoed the baseline, and kept possession. But I cannot believe that Langston Johnson didn't break his leg the way he planted like that. The inside of his ankle bone, I thought, grazed the ground. Wow. In the meantime, Terrell Bryant comes on and replaces Marcus Winters. I'm not sure what happened there, but Trine has it down 9. About 2.5 minutes into the second half. They work underneath. Hunter bobbled it, gets it back, uses his size to his advantage. Well done. 41-34. And unlike the last 3 years, the big men in this game really haven't had the same kind of impact that Drew Sova and Jake Featherolf had the last few wins. The Jackets have won this game 3 years in a row against Trine, and all 4 all time. Colombo was open for a second. Couldn't get open for a shot, though. 5 for Schaefer here. Luke will let it go, and he hits the back right side of the rim. That was pretty well defended. Daniels, he's a good transition three-point shooter. That one misfired long and right. You can hear Tom Heil asking for his team to run with a little more pace. Dimitrievs. Good look. Didn't go in. 41-34. BW's offense has gone quiet again. Boy, both of these two teams one and done offensively over and over again. Now it's Zach Sabula. Schaefer in the right corner. Pulls up on Hunter and misses. We're 4 minutes into the second half. And both teams right now offensively haven't figured it out yet. Underneath to Hunter. That's got to be your primary option as Ty Colombo knocked him over. Colombo picks up his first. Team second. Sova and Mazzio back on. Meanwhile, Hunter comes off the floor. And so the Sova versus Cox matchup seems to favor BW here. Marcus Winters, Langston Johnson. Brent Cox receives the inbounds. Terrell Bryant. Bryce Williams, the 5 on the floor for Trine. Johnson from in front of the free throw line steps back and hits the heel of the rim. Can't remember the last time either of these two sides had an offensive rebound. I don't think it's been this half. Sova. No. This has not been a pleasant stretch of basketball to watch. It's 41-34. Cox for three. Rebound pulled in by Sabula. Offense optional here in the first 5 minutes of the second half. Baldwin Wallace was able to hit their first 2 of the second half, and they've now missed 5 in a row. And on the Trine side, they have, let's see, hit 3 of 8 this half. Finally rolled one in. But all 3 of their first 3 had come early. All right, maybe we're getting back to more regularity here. 41-36. Quiring right down the left side, high off the window for 2. Good play, Michael Quiring. Winters hands the ball to Bryant. He comes back to the top of the arc. Trine coming off back-to-back losses, both of them 2-point losses. They've been in those games a lot after 3 straight convincing wins. Hey, this Trine team beat Mount Union, by the way. And Mount Union is widely considered one of the best teams in the league this year, Mount Union and Marietta. And if that's the case, you know they've got a lot of ability. Mazzio almost traveled because Sova bumped into him. All of a sudden, shot clock getting deep. Sova grabs Sabula's miss, and Drew cleans it up. That's better. 45-38, 5 for the big man, who comes up with an interception. Look out. Sova, and the foul. Brent Cox didn't want to foul him, you could tell. Everybody in the gym thought Drew was going to dunk it. What effort from Big Drew Sova. How about that? Timeout on the floor. Outstanding effort from number 44. And the Jackets lead at 47-38. Back to Berea in just a minute. They'll try and call timeout to try and figure out how to find their way back into this game. They're not terribly far out of it, only down by 9. But the work they have done hasn't necessarily resulted in narrowing the margin too much. Trine had a 3-point lead early in the game, and that's been it. They've only had 3 lead changes in total. Drusova finishes off the 3-point play, and the Yellow Jacket lead is back to 10. Their largest of the game is 11. In the second half, both teams have hit 5 of 11 from the floor, but both had about a 3.5, almost 4-minute scoring drought. Jackets have done really well on the glass, by the way, especially here since halftime. Mazzio to his right, pulls up from outside the elbow. He is dynamite from there. And the rest of the OAC is going to learn that soon. Anthony Mazzio, pure shooter, 50-38, biggest lead for the Jackets. Johnson gets a high screen. Back to the right-hand side, needs a little action from Warzeka. Hunter got it. 8 points for Maurice Hunter. It's 50-40. Shane Zalba running the point at the moment. Back up top to Alex Nara. Drusova underneath, trying to get strong, and the big man lays it in. Boy, Sova's having a good game. And considering what he did against Trine last year, won't even pretend to be surprised. 52-40. Johnson has only had a couple of uncontested open shots all game. Hunter somehow stayed in bounds. He put it in. Tom Heil standing with his hands on his hips in front of his own bench. Zalba picks up his first, team third, and Maurice Hunter goes to the free throw line. Hunter on the season has only been to the line, believe it or not, 2 times. He is 2 for 2. No good. All right. Quiring back to the end of the bench, and he's going to run into the locker room. Hopefully he won't be back in there for particularly long, but Shane Zalba can handle the duties in the meantime. Sova's pass to Alex Nara is a good-looking pass. Didn't work out quite the way he wanted to. That's all right. Those two get back on the same page. Here comes Trine down 10. 11:30 left in the half. Langston Johnson to his right, back to Winters. Winters carving his way through the right side of the key. Well done. Winters has 8. He's looked good. But somebody lost track of where Mazzio was. He was just waiting for Hunter to come to him. Well, gee, that didn't make much sense. Good play by Maurice Hunter. I'm not surprised, though. I wonder why Mazzio didn't explode to the basket a little bit more. 52-46. That's 10 now for Winters, and Tom Heil wants a timeout. All right, good stretch by Trine. They're back within 6 points. 10:51 left in the second half on BWYellowJackets.com. Well, back at it. Jackets have a 6-point edge. Trying to come up with a third win in 4 games after a 2-2 start to the season. We'll get their record to 5-3 before they go on the road for their final 2 non-conference games of the season. I'm Brendan Gulick. Glad to have you on board here, and happy holidays to you from all of us at Baldwin Wallace. Sabula in the corner. Where's he going to go with it? Right back from Nara. 5 to shoot it for the Jackets. Dmitriev's from a mile downtown. He almost hit it. Sova able to tip the rebound to himself. Turns around. Got hit twice, and finally enough for a foul. Maurice Hunter doesn't agree, but would find that difficult. For whatever reason, I would find that hard to believe that it wasn't a foul. All right, so Sova for 2. Drew Sova having a good night. Hits the first free throw. Sova's got 11 points and 8 rebounds. His career high on the boards, 18 rebounds last year against Trine. He is a big, strong kid. Glad to see him playing well here this evening. 12 points after the free throws. He's hit 6 of 7 foul shots tonight. That's always a plus, especially from your post player. Well done by Marcus Winters. (54-48). Winters is having a pretty solid game. He's at 12 now. That one got deflected back up into the bottom of the backboard. Winters underneath, but he didn't stay inbounds. Stepped just barely on the brown paint. Colombo comes in, and Sova heads out. Some love for the big man over on the bench there. Walked right by former All-OAC big man and assistant coach Brian Schmidt. 54-48. Brian Schmidt played his college hoops at Heidelberg. He was a really, really good post player. And the Jackets are so fortunate to have him on the staff. Quiring from the middle of the key, floats it up and in with a right hand. Good job, Mike Quiring. Made that look a little easier than it was. 8 points for Q. 56-48 BW. Johnson just can't get free at all, and Quiring deserves a boatload of credit for the defensive end of the floor tonight, as Daniels is fouled and count the bucket. Fouls on Matt Dmitriev's. And even though it didn't hit his arm, the way the rule book reads, you have to give the shooter space to land. And Dmitriev's, unfortunately, cut his leg out from underneath him. Didn't do it intentionally, but that's the appropriate call. And so, one foul shot coming for Jack Daniels. A chance to cut what was an 8-point lead down to 4. Daniels got it. Jack continues what's been a nice season for him. So Winters, Langston, Hunter, and Daniels are pacing Trine so far tonight. (56-52). Nara, he got strong and went inside. Pinned the ball on his right hip, went down the lane and scores it. 6 for Alex Nara. Marcus Winters looking down the left-hand side. Back to Langston Johnson. Feed Hunter as he comes out of the top of the key. Johnson raises up. Little contact, but not enough for a foul there. Underneath the basket, though, Hunter commits the foul on Nara. Well, Hunter just committed his third, so he comes out, team third of the half. 8:18 left in the game. Jackets have a 58-52 lead. Baldwin Wallace won the OAC Tournament Championship last year. Trine was the regular season champs in the MIAA, but finished runner-up in the tournament as Nara couldn't stay in bounds with the ball there. Jackets, you might remember last year, they were the 4 seed. They were tri-champs in the league. Capital, Mount Union, and Marietta all tied for the regular season championship. 5th consecutive year, Marietta won the regular season title. Nobody else has ever done that in OAC history. Jack Daniels, he hit another one. 58-55, Daniels has 13, 4 3-pointers, and a free throw. Somebody cover that guy. Nara. You know, they like the mismatch here with Colombo on the guard Winters, but Tyler comes out and then throws a wild pass into the corner where Dmitrievs throws one practically so high it hit the rafters. Let's see if the Jackets can scramble for it. Apparently they do. Trine thought it was their ball. Luke Schaefer comes back in, so Q, Sabula, Schaefer, Dmitrievs, and Colombo, and now they make one more change. It's Dmitrievs coming out, and Shane Zalba back in his place. No Drew Silva at the moment. He leads the team with 12 and 8 tonight. Little shimmy shake and a drive, and Zalba got denied by the underside of the rim. Winters with his team down 3. Almost threw it away. That's off Zalba. Just under 7 minutes left in regulation. Jackets still lead the game, but Trine right now is cruising. Johnson guns it into Cox, who turns around, can't get positioning. That is outstanding defense by Tyler Colombo. Underneath, Schaefer sneaks it up and in. 60-55. How quiet a night Luke Schaefer is having. He's only got 4 points because Baldwin Wallace offensively is getting contributions from everybody. Timeout on the floor, 6:37 left, and the Jackets have a 5-point lead. Baldwin Wallace 60, Trine 55 with 6 minutes and 37 seconds left in regulation. If you joined us late, this has been a fairly competitive game, but there's been a lot of sloppy and at times slow play from both teams, just in little spurts. BW's only got one guy in double figures, but they've got 4 players that have at least 8 points tonight. Jackets have shot 45%, Trine 49%. Again, neither team would tell you it's their best game of the year, but both are grinding through it as Tyler Colombo's called for the travel. Trine's only shot 4 foul shots all night, 1 of 4. Considering we've been playing for 34 minutes, that's a little odd. Jackets have hit 6 of 7 from the line. Every free throw's been taken by Drew Silva. Langston Johnson, that's a tough challenge going over the top of Zach Sabula. Johnson puts it in, he's got a dozen. Well below his season average of 22. Firing jumps, throws up top. Schaefer on his way, and he banks it home. 62-57, 5:30 to play. Trine has 3 timeouts. Baldwin Wallace has 4 remaining. Hunter. Winters. Down the left lane, lost it. Uncharacteristic turnover for Brooks Miller's team. They've had a hard time hanging onto the ball tonight. It's their 11th turnover. Acquiring on the baseline. Hunter blocked it into the backboard. Maurice Hunter, the rim protector. Jack Daniels wanted to catch and shoot, but he bobbled it, and Zach Sabula ran into him. First on Sabula, 5th on the Jackets. They've got one to give here over the final 4:45. Let's see, Colombo out. Soba back in. Now Nara returns for Schaefer. And on the other side, Bryce Williams, who again made his first career start tonight. Williams comes back on the floor. And he gets the inbounds pass. Daniels looking left. Throws it over to Warzeka. Langston fights through the screen along with Quiring, and Langston hits. Hot hand, Langston Johnson. (62-59). Nara over the right side, and he got fouled very last minute. So 2 free throws coming for Alex Nara. Nara, when he's been on the floor throughout his career, has been a good player. But Alex Nara hasn't been able to play maybe as often as he wanted to. Tonight's his 54th career game. Nara is a senior from Mayfield, and the Jackets are glad that he's worked through some things that kept him off the floor over the last couple years at times. Alex has 8. It's 64-59. Johnson working on Sabula. Hunter gives it back to Langston. He raises from the left elbow. And Soba grabs the missed shot. We're inside 4 minutes to play. Approaching crunch time here. And Tom Hio wants timeout. 3:51 on the clock. The Jackets have a 64-59 lead over Trine University here at home. Coverage of tonight's Yellow Jacket game presented to you by the Cleveland Clinic Sports Health Division. They're the official healthcare provider for BW Athletics. By American International. If you require a company with proven performance, rely on American International. And by the Courtyard by Marriott and Town Place Suites in Middleburg Heights. Baldwin Wallace with a 5-point lead at home, trying to beat Trine for the 4th year in a row. Sabula back up top to Alex Nara. Quiring pulls up from the keyhole, got hit after the shot. Rebound pulled in on a deflection by Zalba, and he was fouled. 5th foul on Trine. Good second effort from BW offensively. Winters picks up his first. Schaefer's back in. Mazzio's back in. I'm trying to see who came back on. I think it was Williams. Warzeka, Hunter, Langston Johnson, Marcus Winters, and Bryce Williams, the 5 on the floor for Trine, as Hunter blocks yet another shot. He's done that a number of times tonight. Johnson couldn't be more open, but it didn't go in for him. Schaefer grabs the miss. Sova, Mazzio, Quiring, and Sabula, the others out there for BW, as we approach the 3-minute mark in regulation. BW nursing a 5-point lead. Sabula backs out, now to Schaefer. Johnson, a good defender. Shot clock's all the way down to 4. Sabula raises, and it hits the back of the iron. Good offensive board by Anthony Mazzio. The Jackets can take as many as 20 more seconds off the clock here. Game is far from over. Just a 5-point contest. Firing crossed over, found Sabula open in the corner, and he didn't hit that one either, but Mazzio does it again. They reset the shot clock to 20 seconds. I think they're going to do a sideline inbounds because it took a minute for the clock to actually reset, and they'll put 18 seconds on it. All right, so Sabula will inbound. Referees all give each other a thumbs up. They're good. Sova. Hands to Sabula. How about Anthony Mazzio down the stretch here? Maybe the third time's a charm. It sure is. Finally, Zach Sabula puts it in. 67-59, give Zach 5. And give Trine a timeout. That's a killer. A minute came off the clock, and Trine couldn't get off the defensive end of the floor. 2:01 to play. Jackets by 8. All right, after the timeout, Trine has 2 remaining. The Jackets have 3 left at their disposal. We are inside 2 minutes to go, and the Yellow Jackets lead the game 67-59. On the right side, Daniels wants to shoot a 3. He's already hit 4 of them. Instead, Hunter inside, banks it home. Zalba back to Nara, full court press from the Thunder. Shane Zalba helps break it. This is Quiring on the right side with 90 seconds to play. Drew Sova dumps it to Nara, who is right behind him, and he lays it in. Great play by Sova, finding Alex Nara. And good body control by Alex. Jack Daniels steps into another jump shot. It's just a 2-ball, but he certainly has looked pure. Shooting it out of his hand all night. We got a foul in the backcourt. 69-63, that's the 6th foul on Trine. And so if they're going to play the game where they shoot free throws and try to extend things, this is probably the time to do it. You can't really get much further away from this point of the game. It's already a minute 3. 69-63 the score. Both teams get the units they want on the floor, and they give it to Sova. And finally they foul Drew. Well, ordinarily I would say good job. Drew Sova's a 58% career free throw shooter, but tonight he's 6 of 7. Zalba and Nara return here. Mazzio and Schaefer leave. And with 1 minute to go, the Jackets lead it by 6. Sova with a 1-and-1. He's got 12 points and 9 rebounds tonight. Give him 13. Leads the Jackets. Alex Nara's got 10. So after all, it is the two big men for BW that have gotten it done. Maybe not your prototypical post players, and Alex Nara, who's at 6'6", and not a super big presence, but Nara can play the post fairly well. Sova missed the second. Just grazed off of the Jackets. 70-63, 3-possession game here. Sova comes out. All right, Trine down 7 with 59 seconds to play. Winters turns around, goes back to his left. Daniels back to Winters, and Alex Nara almost tackled him. Jeez, oh Pete. Hopefully everybody's all right. That is the 6th BW foul, so not yet putting Trine at the free throw line, but the next one would. Langston Johnson, step back 3. He was guarded well and bricked it. Jake Snyder grabs the rebound. Jackets not done yet, but they're in a good spot. So Jake Snyder, who's got 3 points tonight when he hit a good 3 over on the right wing in the first half. He'll go to the free throw line. 1-and-1 here. Surprisingly, the Jackets don't care about trying to rebound. They just don't want to give up a transition bucket the other way. Snyder hits the first. And the second. How about BW from the line tonight? Looked like a whole different team. It's a BW team that shot 59%. 59% through the first 7 games from the free throw line. And tonight, they've been dynamite. 11 of 13, much better. Daniels hoists. He got fouled. Alex Nara commits the foul. His second, 7th team foul. There's 29.8 on the clock. I certainly understand challenging the shot. You have to. But putting a guy like Daniels at the free throw line seems like a huge no-no. Daniels hasn't missed this year. He's 16 of 16. Perhaps that's why. I hardly saw the net move. It was so perfect. This kid can really shoot it, can't he? Fun to watch. Probably more fun if you're a Trine fan. Winters and Jason Clune come on for the first time. Tom Hyle calls a full timeout. Luke Schaefer back in for BW. 72-65 Yellow Jackets. 29.8 to play here in Berea. All right, as we get back on the floor here, it's the Yellow Jackets who have a 7-point lead, 72-65. Tom Heil called a timeout before the final free throw here for the best shooter for Trine, Jake Daniels, and he hits all three to remain perfect from the free throw line on the season. 20 of 20 now. And a foul immediately on the inbound. Dmitriev's got hit pretty good by Langston Johnson. Hope he's okay. I certainly don't blame Trine for trying to extend this game. That's the best way of getting back in it. The Yellow Jackets with one more 1-1. So Dmitriev's needs to hit one here in order to make it a 3-possession game again. If he does not hit, then it certainly works to Trine's benefit. Keeps it a 6-point contest. 72-66. And Dmitriev's misses. All right, now it gets interesting. Right to the rack quickly. They turn around and fire it back out. Daniels from a mile away missed it. Offensive rebound from Clune. He throws one up. It's a 3-pointer, and he got fouled. There's just no excuse for that. It's the second time the Yellow Jackets have done that. And with 14.3 on the clock, this is a 3-point game, 72-69, with a Trine free throw coming. Trine calls timeout here in Berea. Well, a game that the Yellow Jackets seemingly had in, I don't want to say totally in hand, but certainly they had a commanding lead. They led this game by 12 earlier this half, and they had as much as a 9-point lead not that long ago. It's cut all the way to 3, and Jason Clune is at the free throw line to try to cut it to 2. But he misses on the free throw. Anthony Mazzio gets it from Drew Silva. That helps BW tremendously. Mazzio's going to go to the free throw line. It's a weird night. It's quiet in the gym. The band isn't here. The fans really aren't all that into it at the moment. And I think you can kind of sense a little bit of the nervousness. And perhaps for Baldwin Wallace, this is just a bit odd. Mazzio puts in the free throw. That helps. Makes it a 4-point game, but considering that Trine has hit a 3 and been fouled twice in the last few minutes, perhaps they need another one to make it a 5-point contest. 11 and a half seconds to play. Mazzio missed it. Here we go. Daniels. No. 3 seconds. Trine gets a shot off. It does not go in, and BW survives. Trine had 2 looks from behind the 3-point line with a little bit of contact, but not enough to draw a foul. And Baldwin Wallace finishes tonight's game with a 73-69 victory. So Trine falls to 4-5 with a loss. The Jackets go to 5-3 here this season. And remember, BW is going to go on the road for their next couple after Christmas. So the Jackets win for the third time in 4 games. Tonight's final 73-69. Trine shot 50% from the floor, but the Jackets had 3 more shots, and they shot way better from the free throw line. 12 of 16 from the line helped in a big way. 13 points from Drew Soba and 10 rebounds. A double-double for the big guy. 10 points for Anthony Mazzio. Alex Nara finished with 10 as well. Michael Quiring had 8 for BW. 18 for Jake Daniels. He hit 4 threes and 4 foul shots, but that was it. Surprisingly quiet night for Langston Johnson. He was 0 of 6 from behind the three-point line, and he was 7 of 17 in total from the floor, finishing with only 14 points for a guy that averages almost 22 per night. So again, the Jackets with a victory tonight, 73-69 the final here in Berea. From all of us at Baldwin Wallace, want to wish you happy holidays and hope to see you at an event on campus here sometime soon. I'm Brendan Gulick. Good night from Berea, where the Jackets win on both fronts today. The men and women sweep the Trine doubleheader here at Ersprung Gymnasium. So long, everybody.